Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Oden, and this is where we nurture, empower, inspire, equip, and ignite the journey of introvert achievers who are making waves quietly and with impact. Now, in this week's episode, we're going to dive into what are some tips to help you persevere and persist when you're looking to stay the course in challenging times. You'll be able to hear a story that you may be able to relate to. It's not an overnight story, but it is real. It is deeply personal. And remember to head to my website, stephanieoden.com, and grab your free copy of Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It's a resource I created to help equip you on your journey to even more personal growth and personal success. Let's get into today's episode, shall we? We shall. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. Have you ever desired to have a mentor whisper success secrets into your ear? One with firsthand experience as a six-figure corporate leader, expertise in entrepreneurship, and is an introvert? Tune into each episode where we will provide valuable insights into how introverts can effectively navigate life with full-time jobs, pursue career success, and delve into entrepreneurship. We will explore various business and career topics related to self-discovery, achieving success, and finding joy in the journey. My guest and I share real-life experiences, strategies, tools, and resources that will encourage personal and professional growth, self-empowerment, and living an authentic, purposeful life. Let's get into today's episode. We are not shy, timid, or needing to be fixed. We are an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted AFF. Absolutely fabulous and feisty. Welcome to this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Oden, and make sure you head over to my website, stephanieoden.com, and get your copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It supports the work that we do here. This is where we nurture, we inspire, we equip, we ignite, we empower the journey of the quiet achiever who is making waves quietly and with impact. And in a world that's often too loud, oh my gosh, sometimes the true power lies in the quiet essence of what we achieve. I got a question for you. Have you ever caught yourself playing the comparison game, stacking your chapter 1 up against somebody else's chapter 20, or comparing your story to someone that is maybe more outspoken, say more extroverted? Now, this could be in your job, it could be in your business, it could be in your marketing, or it could even be in personal accomplishments and achievements like fitness, for example. Are you able to push through and persevere? Are you able to persist? You have a record of surviving because you're here now. So you have 100% survival rate to this point. But that doesn't mean that it's always easy. What I want to give you is 3 tips to stay focused and persevere through the challenges. Because I don't know about you, life be lifing. Like maybe it's just my life, but life be lifing. In 2023, I was at what I like to say the best physical strength of my midpoint life, right? I was able to have a medium to bettering core and also getting to the point where I could do these step jumps. Like that was a big challenge for me because 1, overcoming the fear of falling, and 2, the strength to jump up on those. If you don't know, What a step jump is. It's where, and they're also called box jumps. You could do it with the big box. You may have seen that on TikTok videos or something, but you can also do it with risers and the steps. And you put them there, and coach would say, "Hey, this station, we're gonna jump, and then we're gonna do a burpee, and we're gonna jump and do a burpee." You know what a burpee is, right? I don't. If you don't, look it up. And I was to the point of where I was able to pass my fear. I was able to do those. And life. In the midst of getting stronger, I had been having some severe pain, and I couldn't understand it. I went to get it checked out, and she told me that I had cysts on my ovaries. Now, I'm sorry, guys, if you tune in and it's girly stuff, but I had cysts on my ovaries, which were growing. They're not healthy. They could turn into the C word. Oh my. So, if you understand anything about any type of surgery like that, some of you would get that and you understand that is it's going to require a surgery that is going to impact my core. So I had a choice. Did I want to keep putting up with this pain, or did I want to stay prideful and keep building my core, which would never be extra strong because I had the cysts and they were growing and it was painful. They were impacting other things in my body. Now, having been through other surgeries before, again, sorry guys, gentlemen, haven't been through other surgeries before, cesareans, other things that happened. I knew, and I had that dread because I knew it was going to impact my core. I was like, oh, I'm just coming back. Oh my gosh, I'm not there yet, but I'm coming back. And I questioned at this point, would I be able to come back? Because I'm not the youngest. So could I come back? And I also had the huge epiphany. The core is very important. If you pick up nothing and you stop here, get some core work in your life. I'm not a fitness guru, although I did used to teach aerobics, so I know a thing or two. And your core is super critical to the simple things in life, like sitting up in the bed, going to the restroom at a event and getting up off the toilet. It's kind of important for that. And also what I had discovered as well is a strong core helps your hamstrings and your quads get along. So one of them is not doing more work than the other. Super important. So here I was getting ready to do the surgery. It was not an option because one of the things that the doctor wanted to look at was like, hey, is there any chance of the C word? And if it is, we'll send you off to a specialist. Granted, I'm telling you this from a place on the other side, but at the time when I heard all that, it was absolutely it was devastating. Like I remember getting this information and sitting in my car and crying because I don't want to do another surgery, Lord. And what if it's the C word? And I don't what it and so devastated. And then thinking, man, I'm really just starting to get my body in a shape that it's ready for the next half or all the work that I need to do. And I was really disappointed. I was scared. I was disappointed. I was fearful. I was all the things. Granted, right now I'm not bawling in front of you, but you could just imagine, right? And with all that, I still had not anticipated how disappointed I would be when I came back with very little to zero core strength. My goal wasn't a flat stomach, it was a strong core. And my goal was to be able to get back to being able to do back to or better, be able to do a plank. Now I didn't share that. There was times when I would be so frustrated because she would say, "Hey, do the plank," and okay, 5 seconds and take a break. And that wasn't the time she gave it to us for. But I kept working at it. And I kept doing a little bit more each time we did major core work. I did have to move through being frustrated because I'd look around and it's not a comparison because she tells us don't compare, but I look around like, you know, or I'd look back and say, I used to be able to do that. But I am where I am right now. And that was one of the steps that when I got that, I would find myself growling. My coach would walk by. She's like, okay, you got this. Put that away. And you might be looking for an overnight success story, right? I did it and I worked hard for 6 months and booyah, I hit it. No, it took me 14 months with going to the goal, but not obsessed about the goal. Okay. Took me 14 months. You know how long 14 months is? That's a year and 2 months. And here's how it came to life. Coach said, at this station, we're going to plank for a minute. Now, of course, thinking back in the recent past, I'm like, last time, oh gosh, 15 seconds. I'd take a break. And you do know that a plank is straight gangsta core, right? You do know that. Okay, those of you who get a plank move, look it up or try it. Right? My mind said nope, but something was different about that day. And although my mind said no, it then said maybe. And it was just a little longer than last time. Okay, Stephanie said to Stephanie, a little longer than last time. I looked up and I made it to 15 seconds. I remember distinctly, and the clock was on 44. I was like, wow, okay. Then I decided to not look at the clock anymore and focus on breathing, like focus on where I was going, focus on as long as I could. What would be the as long as I could, whatever that was. And I did it. I held the plank for 60 seconds. First time ever that I didn't, and I didn't plop down. I held it. I was so proud of myself, and that's part of the journey is being proud of yourself. And I thought about, well, what would be some tips that I could share out of that experience because life gives us stories and life gives us experiences. And I'm going to tell you three things that really stay with me and maybe they will encourage you too. The first one is stay focused on your goals. Like keep the goal in mind and focus on the things that will help achieve them. Avoid getting sidetracked by minor details or things that don't relate. And when you think about my story I shared with you, I was focused on being able to do a plank, but I wasn't focused on doing the plank. I knew that if I worked on my core, the exercises that worked on your core, that my core was getting stronger and that I would be able to do the thing. I didn't know when. We do the Napoleon Hill. Those of you who've done that and you have the chief aim and you set the date, by the day of, and you go through that, I will be at, and you go through that. But hold on to that loosely and keep doing the things, the activities that help you achieve the goal. I kept showing up for class. I stopped being angry with myself when I couldn't do it as well as I did in the last time or the preseason, pre surgery season. And I kept going. The second thing you can do is celebrate small successes. Along the way, celebrate the success. When I could do one more sit up or one more push up or one more lift or a little bit heavier weight, any of that, celebrating that. Celebrating that. Because you think about it, I'm coming back from a major surgery. I couldn't even do a jumping jack. I did the low impact. right? I was celebrating being able to do the low impact. Then I was celebrating the fact that I could jump and it didn't feel like my insides were moving with me. So celebrating the small successes along the way, no matter how small they would seem. The first success is showing up. Good job, self. And you never know when people know your story and know what you've been through and they see you standing in that moment of gratitude for where you are, it inspires others. Your enthusiasm, your showing up, your stick with itness. Yeah, I made that up. Stick with itness. Your stick with itness inspires other people, and they in turn will inspire you. I'm going to share one more with you. And make sure you go to my website, get a copy of the Quiet Achievers Success Pillars. Get that. It's some good stuff in there and a way for you to actually celebrate yourself. And the third thing that you can do as you continue to persevere is mindset. Keep a positive mindset. Focus on where you're going. Focus on what you're doing well. And everything affects everything. So focus on what you're doing well in terms of showing up for your business, in terms of showing up day to day, even when there's challenges on the job. All of that transitions over, showing up when you're working on things related to your physical health. We don't separate ourselves from those. So focus on the things that are going well. Focus on where you want to go. And there will be challenges. As an entrepreneur, there's challenges. As a leader, there are challenges. As a parent, there are challenges. As a wife, there are challenges. However, there also can be opportunities for growth and improvement. Because if you think about the seed that's in the ground that comes up through the ground, sometimes the seed comes up through a crack in the cement. The seed doesn't sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, this is okay, this I don't know if I can get through this." It's really focused on looking at how can I get to the thing that I need, which is my goal, which is the sun. How can I just focus on what's the next step? And that is what I want to leave with you. So definitely let me know what you've been able to take away from this episode. Love to hear where you are. Remember, persevering, persistence, tenacious. I know that you have what it takes. You might need to tap into it. You have what it takes to be successful in your business, in your personal life, in your career. I know that you have what it takes. Tap into what you need to support you. And I'm here. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. That's it for today's episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. If you found our discussion enlightening and would like to continue looking at what it means to be a quiet achiever, remember to subscribe to our podcast, leave a review, leave a comment. I like hearing from you. Also, head over to the website, get your copy of the Quiet Pillars for Success Achievers, and thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. We'll catch you next time on the Quiet Impact Podcast.